there.
Hello.
We all set in there?
Yep.
Perfect. We would like to welcome Webb Simpson, the 2011 Wyndham Championship, to the virtual media room. Webb, welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Yeah. This is a course and a tournament where you found a lot of success, had 8 top 10s, and highlighted by 4 consecutive top 3 finishes. So tell me what it's like to be back here.
I love coming back. Obviously, it's like, I live at Quail Hollow Club, which is a home tournament. This feels like another home tournament for me, growing up an hour and a half down the road. And, I love this golf course. I feel like my home course growing up, Carolina Country Club, has some similarities, undulation, dog legs, got to hit fairways. And, us players talk about what's, a golf course that fits our eye or a golf course we feel comfortable on. And I've always felt that way here. And so I've always said no matter what kind of form I have coming into the Wyndham, I feel confident, that I can have a good week. And I think building years of, good rounds and solid finishes helps build that confidence as well.
And you spoke to your kind of a local and fan favorite being Wake Forest and Raleigh native. So can you speak to what it's to be represent and kind of play in your hometown area?
Yeah, my family, they all live in North Carolina, Greensboro, Raleigh, Winston-Salem. I have a sister in Georgia, but for the most part, I get all my family coming to this event more than any other event, and friends. And like you said, went to Wake Forest, 30 minutes down the road, and so a lot of flashbacks happened this week, just of junior golf and my development in high school, and then in college, kind of how I grew as a player in college. And I feel super appreciative that I had the opportunity to play for Jerry Haas at Wake. I learned so much from him. And so there's a lot of kind of nostalgia this week for me in a good way of all the memories I've had as a golfer. Now I'm 36 and I think my 13th season, maybe 14th season, and I'm still excited about the game of golf, which is a good thing. At times it feels like a job, but I think being back here at Sedgefield at the Wyndham, our third child we named Wyndham Rose, partly because of this golf tournament and just kind of what it means to me and my family. So a lot of kind of special factors here this week for me.
You said, of course, you have a lot of memories here. Any specific ones? Of course, your first win, but you even mentioned junior golf. Any stories you have to share?
Well, when I was, I believe, 13 years old, maybe 12, I think one of those years, I tried to qualify for the AJGA, forget the name of it, but it was the AJGA in Greensboro. At the time, AJGA was big, but it was nothing like it is now. And this was a big tournament. I Monday qualified. I played over at the Cardinal Club. And that was kind of my first really big golf tournament. And I remember that week very well. I stayed with my brother here about 10 minutes away. He took me to the course every day, dropped me off. And, I remember my first year here as a rookie. I didn't play that well, missed a cut. But, yeah, winning in 2011 after having chances to win that year, not getting it done, I couldn't have written a better script. I mean, I remember thinking, of course I wanted to have won in Tampa, but I lost by 1 to Gary Woodland, or lost in a playoff to Bubba Watson that year at New Orleans. But having the breakthrough come with everybody here, my dad got to hand me the trophy on the 18th green, which was an amazing memory. And, Bobby Long, who is kind of the man behind the scenes here, longtime great family friend. I love coming here and seeing him and kind of how he's helped this tournament along with Mark Brazel.
Thank you for those stories. With that, we'll open up with the media. First, we will go over to Luke DeCock with Raleigh News and Observer.
Hey, Webb. Curious, you've always, for all those reasons, made time for the Wyndham on your schedule and made it a point to be here. With the schedule change next year, obviously it's going to be easier for other golfers to kind of fit this tournament in. What do you think that's going to do potentially for this tournament? And does that just make it easier for you that it might not be a squeeze into your schedule, but something that fits really well?
Yeah, the older I've gotten, the more I'm trying to pick golf courses where I have the best chance of winning. There might be some places that I love going to, the area or, whatever town we're in or whatnot, but I don't play well. This is a golf course that I would put kind of in my top 5 of I'm not missing, these 5 tournaments no matter what. And so I think it's been an interesting date being that a lot of the top players don't play because it's right before the playoffs, but every year it seems like you get a few big names who need to play for the FedEx Cup playoffs. There's always exciting stories here of guys trying to play their way into keeping their card and make it to the playoffs. But yes, I think with the new schedule, I think everyone I've talked to seems to love the new flow for next year, and I do think Wyndham is a good beneficiary to the new schedule, and I think we'll see a couple other top players. And the other thing is, when I talk to guys who have never come before or maybe have been here 1 year, everyone loves this golf course. There's always positivity in talking about the Wyndham Championship. And so I think it needs more than anything just exposure to these top players. If they come, they'll see that it's a great golf course. And we don't play many golf courses like this anymore. And I think, it's a fun week where you don't have to hit it 350 yards every hole to be competitive.
Now we'll go over to Shane Ryan with Golf Digest.
Hey Webb, you mentioned the drama that's here every year with the FedEx Cup playoffs. Sometimes, including this year, we also have a little bit of Ryder Cup drama. You're one of a handful of actually probably 10 guys who are kind of in that discussion this year with the captain's picks. I was looking at the Ryder Cups you've played in, and just curious, you happen to miss 2016, just the way it worked out. Do you personally feel like you have unfinished business within your career in terms of the Ryder Cup?
Yeah, I really do, Shane. I've been 3-0 at President's Cups and 0-3 in Ryder Cups. And sitting at home in 16, it was a bittersweet feeling. I was so bummed not to be there, but I was so happy that we won. And it was, I remember watching all the coverage even after the tournament just to see how excited they were. And I remember feeling like I would love to have that experience at least one time, in my career. Like you said, it would be one of those things where I feel like if I was on a winning Ryder Cup team, I would kind of check that off the list because I've never experienced it, and it would be an amazing feeling and accomplishment. So, yeah, I still have work to do. I'm telling myself every day that, I need to have a good run here in Memphis this week and next few weeks to make that team. So there's definitely motivation there for me to play well.
Do you feel like you got a nice start on that with Memphis?
I do, yeah. The 2 great rounds, 2 not so great rounds. But, as a golfer, you can fake it for a little bit. And I don't feel like I was doing that last week. I feel like we are really on the right track. I felt like at the Open Championship, it was more of kind of surviving that week. But last week we saw a couple of things that I haven't seen this year. For example, my approaches to the greens in my career typically have been what's been most consistent. That's been the weakest link this year. And last week, I had a much better week in that category. So that's what I really need to start being more consistent again.
I appreciate it, Webb. Thank you.
Thanks.
With Golf Week, we have Adam Schupak.
Hey Webb, just want to follow up on one thing you said there. Can you shed a little more color or light on your father giving you the trophy that time?
Yeah, so my dad, he got so nervous watching me play junior golf, college golf, amateur golf, pro golf, he couldn't really watch. And so I had a 3-shot lead on 18, and he wouldn't leave player dining until I hit my second shot on the green. My mom, sisters are telling him, come on, we got to go to the 18th green. He wouldn't leave till it was like a done deal. And he was a very, very humble man, didn't like the spotlight at all. But, Bobby Long being one of his closest friends, Bobby and my dad and me and Bobby's son Robert grew up playing together in Wilmington. That's where I learned the game. And so Bobby knew, I guess, just the instrumental role my dad played in my life and my golfing life, and wanted him to be a part of, my first win. So my dad didn't want to do it because he didn't want any credit or anything like that. But Bobby basically pulled him on the 18th green and said, Sam, you're handing Webb the trophy. And sure enough, my dad, we got great pictures, and, it was not scripted at all, but Bobby just thought it was important. And it was emotional. Bobby was emotional. My dad was emotional. I was emotional. Because when I was 8 years old, I started the game of golf, started playing at Landfall, which is where I first met Bobby and his son Robert. And it was crazy. I mean, I'm 25 years old, and a winner on the PGA Tour. So it was a special moment all around.
Webb, how do you look at a season where you haven't had a win yet?
I really measure the season by Atlanta. If I make it to Atlanta, even if I didn't win, I feel like good things happened for me to get to the final 30. If I don't make it to Atlanta and I'm winless, it'll be a disappointing season for sure. I've battled a couple of things this year that I've never dealt with. I had COVID. I got the flu, which knocked me out for a couple weeks before the U.S. Open, and a neck injury at Wells Fargo. So excuses aside, I feel like I've just not gotten in a good rhythm. This is my first 2 weeks in a row since Masters RBC. And so it's just been that kind of year, up and down, and I haven't really caught a rhythm. So I'm very much anticipating these weeks as I'm hopeful that they're great weeks. But it is what it is. If I don't make it to Atlanta, if I don't make a Ryder Cup, I'll be very disappointed. But, I'm going to keep moving on. And as crazy as our sport is, the next season starts a couple weeks later. So it's always stuff to play for and always room to get better.
One more, if you don't mind. Your fellow Wake guy, Will Zalatoris, he's got to win this week to qualify for the FedEx Cup. But otherwise, I mean, he'd be a slam dunk. Do you feel like there should be some change to that rule to allow him to participate?
I do. I mean, I think this is off the cuff, but I've always thought there's certain things that I feel like could be a player vote. And I think I represent a lot of the players, that I've talked to, that we all feel that he should be able to go to the playoffs. Even if he's ahead of me in the FedEx Cup playoffs, I think he deserves to be in the playoffs. And nothing that the tour's done wrong. I just think it's a rule that really needs to be looked at and revised. And, he's played long enough now in enough events and played well enough. He deserves to be there. The only reason he's not there is because of the way a rule is written. But I feel like I speak for pretty much all the players that I've talked to, at least, that, Will should be in New York next week. And it stinks that he won't be unless he wins.
Thanks, Webb.
Yep.
Now over to Bob Herrick with ESPN.
Hey, good morning, Webb. I wondered if you could think back to that first Ryder Cup of yours. Do you remember what it was like on your very first tee shot?
Oh yeah.
Was it as challenging as anything as you faced?
Yeah, honestly, Tuesday practice round, I was like just as nervous. I couldn't believe the environment, the atmosphere. We're hitting balls on the range on Tuesday, and Keegan Bradley and I are looking at each other like, this is crazy. And then I'm playing with Bubba Watson on Friday, first match, and he throws his hands in the air, which I didn't know he was going to do that. He gets the crowd up on their feet, loud as they can, and that's probably the number one tee shot that I'll remember the rest of my life most vividly. He looks over at me. I'm standing on the left side, which I normally don't, but I'm standing with Teddy and Paulie. And Bubba looks over at Teddy and kind of gives him the, should I do it? And I look at Teddy, and Teddy nods, and I don't know what's coming. And then that happens, and he hits it 350 yards. And, there's no environment, as like the Ryder Cup. So that was a pretty nice welcome.
Did your perception of the event change after having played in it a couple of times compared to what you might have thought it was going in?
Yes, for sure. It didn't seem like to me before I played, just watching it didn't seem like guys were invested as much as I realized they are. And there's so much emotion in the team events, especially the Ryder Cup. You're exhausted all week, but you're so excited. You have so much adrenaline. There's so much of a letdown if you don't win a point, or if you lose a match. There's so much adrenaline in a positive way if you win. There's tears shed. At nighttime with the team, you seeing guys be vulnerable that would never think of doing that in a regular season event. And I remember Jim Furyk told me in 2011 at Melbourne, he said, enjoy this week. At the end of your career, you'll remember your wins and your team events most. And he was right. These are special events with your spouse, your significant other. They're brought into the inner room, and they're a part of it, and so that's really special as well.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
With Golf Channel, we have Kira Dixon.
Hey, Webb. Just a quick question, changing gears a bit. Have you seen the changes to the official World Golf Ranking rules this morning? And if so, do you have any thoughts on that?
So I just heard about it, and what I heard about it, I loved what I heard. I thought for a while that it needed to be looked at, given a minimum number of points, for no reason whatsoever, I thought was too many points. I love the fact that if you make the cut, you're going to get some credit, which I think you should. It's the world ranking system, I think for a while has been a really good system, but I feel like it could have gotten better. And it seemed like what I heard, all those things that they're changing are going to make it better. Because at the end of the day, you just want it to be as fair as possible. A level playing field for everyone. And, whoever's representing whatever world ranking points are represented that week, you want those to be accounted for, and it sounds like they're going to do that now. So I'm really happy about that.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we are going to finish up with one last question from Shane Ryan with Golf Digest.
Okay, sorry to inundate you with Ryder Cup stuff, Webb, but I just had one follow-up thought, which is that the only remotely controversial thing I can think of from your entire career was probably the info you yourself gave about having texted Tom Watson in the lead-up to 2014.
Yeah.
And I was just curious on that, thinking about now when you're a potential captain's pick. Does the memory of that or what happened there influence at all, like how you would interact with Steve Stricker, who I assume is somebody that you're, if not friends with, at least friendly with? I'm just curious how that kind of dynamic works.
Yeah, that's a great question. Certainly close to Captain Stricker. Played a lot of golf with him. But would I do that again? I don't know. I was so, I guess, anxious about making that team in 2014, and maybe it was good and bad that I texted him. But in that moment, I felt like I don't know Tom as well. I don't know if he knows how much I want to make this team. Stricker and I have texted, but I haven't sent that text like I sent to Tom. I think he knows how much I love team events. But also, I guess, getting older, playing these events more, I've realized Stricker's going to pick who he feels is the best team for that week, and I trust that. If I play well these next few weeks, make it to Atlanta, I think I make a great case with experience, and I probably will have gone back into the top 12. But it's one of those things. If he does, if I don't qualify, if he doesn't pick me, it's going to be tough. But hey, I know Stricker well enough. He knows the game of golf well enough. He wants to win the Ryder Cup. He's going to do whatever he thinks is best.
All right, thank you, Webb.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's all the questions we have. We
All right.
appreciate you taking the time this week, and
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.